G'day guys, actually just recording this because I did an intro to this video and it won't play or record or anything, so I don't know, it's stuffed. Anyway, I brewed the Cerveza today that you may have heard from my homebrew Wednesday that I was going to brew. For a quick recap, the reason I was brewing the Cerveza was my mates are lager drinkers and not a lot of them like my style of beer, so the hoppy sort of IPAs, that sort of thing. So I thought I wanted to brew something that I could at least let my mates try and see what their thoughts were on it. It's always nice to be able to share your hobby with someone, so that's what I've done. So it was a Munton Cerveza, and it was using a mix called Brew Enhancer or Brew Booster number 15. So my local home brew shop have come up with their own recipes on particular things. So the Cerveza, for example, they've come up with a mix that they believe gives you the best results. So you can buy a Cerveza and a Brew Mix 15 and chuck it together and it's done. It's almost like a kit and kilo, but the next level kit and kilo. So I thought I'll give it a try because if it works, it'll save a lot of hassle with brews that I just want to throw together. My last IPA was a mix of specialty grains, hops. You know, it was a bit more advanced, but if I just have something like this as a Cerveza, I just want to chuck it in, get it fermented, just so I've got something nice to drink for summer. It'll be ideal. They've got their own porter mixes, Cerveza, as I said, lagers, ales, basically everything they sell. They've come up with a brew mix for it. Now, of course, you can just go in and buy your own. You can buy your liquid malt extract, your dry malt extract, whatever you want. But they've actually come up with some recipes, which it's great for someone like me when I just need a quick throw it together brew and I haven't actually worked out exactly what I want to put in it. But it's also great for someone who is new to home brewing and thinks, right, I really like Coronas. I'd like to try and make a Corona. Is that possible? Yep. Get this, mix them together, chuck some yeast in. Job done. So I think it's a really good thing. So hopefully it'll work. It'll be interesting to see anyway. Interesting to see if it will work. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So it's been made. I have recorded it. I still haven't got worked out exactly how I want to set up the area that I do my brewing in. So you get to see a lot of footage in my back, but it's the best I could do at the moment. I did it in my kitchen. My kitchen's quite narrow. I think I might start recording them down in my basement, which is where I keep my brews, and I've probably got a bit more room. So I think I'll actually do that in future. But yeah, enjoy the video. As I said, it's a Munton's Mexican Cerveza with Brew Enhancer 15, which is a mix of 500 grams dextrose for 250 grams of maltodextrin and 250 grams of light dried malt extract. I used a US05 yeast from Fermentus, and that's basically it. So thanks guys, enjoy the video and speak to you soon. Thanks. Alright guys, we're basically ready to go. One word of advice I'll give is when you're soaking these, the label gets really wet and soft, take it off because you don't want little shards of paper falling into your brew. It can be pretty frustrating and then you've got to dig it out. Your fingers aren't sanitised, the label's got little bits of glue on it, it's just something that can add to your brew that you don't want. So make sure as well, because I've done it before and it's not pleasant, your tap is closed. Make sure it's closed, as stupid as it sounds again. You pour the liquid in and that's open and it just pours all over the floor. So literally all I'm going to do is fill this with boiling water, the water that has boiled. There we go. Take the top off this. There's no need to boil this or anything because it has been sanitised already. And my scissors have disappeared. Oh, there they are. This is already sanitised. It's a sealed package. So look, some people go to the effort of sanitising their scissors. I've never bothered. And literally in it goes. Spoon has been sanitised. So there's a couple of ways to do this. You can stir it like this, which does a job, but it can splash around a bit when you're stirring and there's hot water in there. Your other way you can do it is just to swirl it around like this. It'll get everything out. Just swirl it for a couple of minutes. It's not too bad this mix because there's only 250 grams of dried malt extract. Dried malt extract can clump quite easily. You don't want that. So this is a good way to actually just get all the lumps out, but being that this is mainly dextrose and sugar, okay. Next, and I'm going to try and do this completely unedited, so if I make some mistakes in the talking, that's why I haven't edited it out, because I'm showing you how easy quick this can be. I'm not going to do that on the edge. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Just pour this in. And look, you've seen all this before, guys. I'm sure I'm not the first video you've watched on home brewing. You've probably just stumbled across this on page 200 or something. But it's always a good tip to get some hot water in there. It just helps you get everything out of the can. This stuff's really highly concentrated, and you don't want to leave any behind. So that's mixing in. Let's just give this a stir just to get it all out of the can. The can is empty. Okay, so we did a slide edit there. I thought that you didn't really need to see about 3 minutes of me stirring, so if we did. Really interesting smell. So I've got the GoPro, so let's so as you can see, it's just mixed up. It's getting a bit foggy, but it's all mixed. It's a really interesting smell. Not a smell I've smelled before in a beer. It's almost, it actually reminds me of like vegetable soup, as weird as that might sound. That's really strange. I've never actually smelled a beer smell like that. Like tomato-y vegetable sort of soup. That's basically it. All I've got to do now, top it up with water. I use bottled water. If you bear with me 1 second. I buy 10 litre containers of water. The reason I do that is convenience. My tap has a pretty low pressure on it. It will take ages for me to fill it. The other reason, I know this is safe. It's been filtered. I don't know the exact makeup of my tap water. I know you can go online and have a look at your makeup. I don't want to trust my beer with what the government's telling my water's doing. And I'm sure it's accurate. I'm sure with the health regulations it is right. But I use bottled water. It's cheap as anything. I think it's like $1.50 in Australia for like 10 litres, or $2 or something for 10 litres. I need 1.5 of them roughly with the water I've added. It cost me nothing, so it's worth the risk for me. So literally, I just pour this in. Get my other one. Now under normal circumstances, I'm using my sanitizing cloth here, so this has actually got sanitizer in the cloth, just to give it a wipe down. It's got to be dirty. In normal circumstances, what I would do, I'd have one of these in the fridge for a couple of days to have it cool. and then because it'll help bring the temperature of the water down. I don't really need it in this case because I only added about 1.5 litres of hot water. The rest is going to be sort of room temperature, so that'll bring it down to a temperature that is suitable. Normally, when I'd be brewing, I'd be adding like specialty grains and whatnot, and they're boiled in several litres of water. So just stop there. Just checking my measurements are right. This is going to work out pretty much that I just need both of these. That's going to be close enough. I normally only make 20 litres. I know most recipes call for like 23. I generally make 20. I just prefer the actual flavour of the beer at 20. That's 21 just to use the extra litre of water. So let me just give that a real good stir. Okay, and that's the beer done. All I've got to do now is add my yeast. I am using an additional yeast. I've said it a couple of times. The first thing I was always told with making home brew is the best way to improve your beer, if all you're going to do is change one thing, put a proper yeast in. I say proper, that's probably not accurate, but put a good quality yeast in. Something that's got a date stamp on it, you know where it's come from, you know how long it's got left. And you know it's been stored properly because you've got it from your home brew shop. These things, I mean, this is what came with it. It's just a silver package of yeast. It was just sitting on a shelf. Who knows how long it was there for. I don't rehydrate my yeast. I know there's plus and minus camps. Some people do, some people don't. I even look at this. The actual manufacturer of this, pitching, sprinkle into wort. That's all it says. Doesn't say rehydrate, but sprinkle into wort. It does not say anything of rehydrate at this temperature. I know the benefits of it, I know the disadvantages of it. Benefits being apparently more yeast survives, you have more yeast. These sachets do 30 litres, I'm only ever making 20, so even if a third of them die, I've still got enough for 20 litres. Disadvantage is my time, whether I want to sit here, measure the water temperature. It's just, for this sort of brew, nah. Alright, so sprinkle this on top. And that, my friends, is home brew. Put it on top. Airlock on. Just got a little bit of foam left in it from the sanitizing. We've got any water here. Let me just grab some water. Water. I just like to press it down a couple of times. You're not in any sort of danger here at the moment of anything getting back into your beer and infecting it because it's full of sanitizer. And that's it. So there'll be a couple of cuts in this from just when I was stirring, but I mean that hasn't taken 15 minutes to actually make that from fermenter being full of sanitizer to having a beer in it ready to put downstairs and ferment. It's as simple as that. If you want to make a home brew that you can take over a friend's place, even just say, look boys, I made this, have a try, 15 minutes, Now, it'll ferment for about 2 weeks. Again, I don't do a lot of testing of its gravity. I will do one now just before I take it downstairs, just to test its actual starting gravity. But that's only to know roughly how much alcohol's in it. I don't really bother with it's got to be the same reading 2 days in a row. You should. If you're watching this and you are new, and I don't think that many experienced home brewers watching this, you should. 2 readings. If they're the same 2 days in a row, it's ready to bottle or keg or whatever. Probably not too important with keg, but I bottle all of my beer. I generally just leave it 14 days. I generally brew on a Sunday. 2 Sundays later, I bottle it. It's never once been a problem. I've got mates that have been doing this for years that don't even own a hydrometer. They don't know what alcohol their beer is. They don't know when it's ready. They just do 14 days, in it goes. And they've been doing it for years and never had a problem. I've been doing it for a while now. I've never had a problem. But if you have any concern about bottles, mine's down in a garage. It can't really cause any damage. It's inside a sort of container. It can't really cause any damage. If you're worried that it's going to explode and you're going to have beer everywhere or glass everywhere or whatever, just do it. Just measure the gravity and then you know that it's ready. Anyway, enough on that. This is good to go. I'm going to take it downstairs, and that's it. So thank you again for watching, and all the previous videos. It's been great how much people are actually watching them. I've only put 4 videos up and I've almost got over 100 views already, so that's fantastic. Really appreciate all the help. I've had a few people contact me about some stuff, which is great. I will get back to you. My plan is when I'm editing this upstairs, I'll be replying to some of those messages. And thank you guys, it's been fantastic, and that's it. So there'll be another Homebrew Wednesday in a couple of days. I'll try and get this video up today, no promises. But yeah, have a great day, have a beer, and thank you.